catch a mess, through the pain, through the hurt. Just wanted to catch a mess, keep on hustling, putting work. Just wanted to catch a mess, stand tall and fight back. Let them know you ain't gotta live like that. Catch a mess, through the pain, through the hurt. Just wanted to catch a mess, keep on hustling, putting work. Just wanted to catch a mess, stand tall and fight back. Let them know you ain't gotta live like that.
I look around like where the good times at. I just wanna bring the good times back. And if the good die young, why am I still alive? Maybe I deserve that fact. And the stars only shine when the dark come. Got me think about where I got my start from. We the new breed, who are we? We the lost ones. We the generation that embrace it like an art form. Here we go. And if we sitting in a tight spot, then you in the right spot. Man, I swear to God, I done been there. One shot like stop. Shot I lost a lot of homies that were here and they vanished in the same air. Yeah, it's like a roll of the dice. Pay the ultimate price. So do you stand up and fight? Do you throw in the towel and say, I'm out or stand tall and prepare for the fight of your life? See me, I still battle with a...
Hi, everybody. This is Higgy, and welcome to the No More Heroin Survivor Series. This is my second episode back. I have a great guest tonight. The Survivor Series is an original product of No More Heroin 501c3, and we showcase inspirational testimonies of people that have overcome seemingly insurmountable odds. These people are heroes. They are the ones that are willing to step out of the shadows and bare their souls and share their stories in hopes that others might gain some insight and wisdom and some courage to fight through addiction. Tonight, I have a dear friend of mine from Wisconsin, Steffi Mikkleson. She is an amazing person. She's been my dog. She's been very, very valuable to me in my recovery recently and coming back from relapse. So it's an honor to have her. And without further ado, I want to bring in my recovery sister, Steffi Mikkleson. What's up? How are you?
Good evening. How's it going?
And by the way, everyone, we're streaming on Higgy 2.0 Plus, my new social media page, and the Survivor Series with Higgy on YouTube. So we're streaming to two different platforms. Please share this out if you would, so that others might catch this inspirational testimony. Trying to figure out what's going on. Hey, Brian P.
How's it going, Brian?
Brian from Wisconsin, Green Bay, Wisconsin area as well. It's good to see you, brother. So I just gave a brief introduction. You know I love you. You're like a sister to me. You've been very, very valuable in my recovery, most recently within the last year and a half. And you coached me out of a very, very dark place. And love me unconditionally, and that's been very, very well accepted. I can't think of the right terminology, but I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for your insight. I'm grateful for you reaching out and texting me in the beginning. I wouldn't have ventured to Wisconsin to spend the summer with you guys otherwise, but I'm grateful for you. If you would, please introduce yourself.
My name is Steffi Mikkleson, and I am a recovery coach and interventionist for Forest County Potawatomi Wellness Court now. I was behavioral health. I just moved to Wellness Court, as well as AmeriCorps.
Potawatomi.
They
They
are. Took you a while to get that down.
Yeah, Menominee, Potawatomi, and all the Indian names of the towns up in that area. Oconto. That's where I picked up my speeding ticket before I came down here to Indiana.
Which one?
Which one? Oh, the other one was in Illinois.
You got a couple in my Charger.
Correct. Please continue.
One of them I was with for, so.
I love you very much. Thank you. So let's. You struggle with addiction, substance abuse issues for a large majority of your life. You've been clean how long now?
Almost 6 years.
6 years. That's phenomenal.
It
really is. You're an old soul when it comes to recovery. You've come by it honestly and by the hard way too, I believe.
Yeah, and it was funny because I was just thinking about this earlier that I used to get aggravated when I had like a year clean or a year and a half, and somebody would go, "Oh, you're just a baby."
You're just a baby.
And I'm like, what do you mean I'm just a baby? Do you have any idea what I fought through to get here?
Right.
But these are people who like have 5, 10, 15, 20 plus years.
Right.
Of course they knew what I fought through to get there.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Go ahead. I was gonna
and like I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about feeling that way, and then thinking to myself, because somebody else said to me today, "Oh, you're just a baby," but this person had 20 plus years. And when somebody like today, like I take that as now I take that as so endearing, because I'm like, I know where I was when I first got upset about someone saying that, and I know where I'm at today, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, it's only going to get better. It's only gonna get better. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
growth to be, I can't even imagine at this point.
So I always tell people, if you want to find recovery, surround yourself with people that have already found it. And do you find that to be true for yourself?
Absolutely, 100%.
If you're talking about hanging out with people that have significant amount of time.
Yeah, I was always, you and I have a common mentor who says, always hang out with somebody who's better than you, who's where you want to be. And it's so cool, because it's like, I want to emulate that success. When I see somebody who's further along in life, in recovery, in whatever, I'm not like intimidated by that. I want to be that. So I want to suck as much of that in as I possibly can.
Yeah, because recovery doesn't happen through osmosis, right? You can't just get all this knowledge by hanging out with some people that have time. You have to do the work and emulate what they're doing to get where they are. Because I thought that was the key for me. I knew all these recovery superstars, and I was in there. I thought, I have arrived, but I failed to do the internal work. And self-will only carried me so far before it took me out as well. So I can really relate to what you're saying, and I believe that is one of the key components of recovery is doing the work and hanging out with people that have the knowledge and being able to apply it.
Yeah, because when we first get into recovery, it's like learning how to walk and talk. So babies, they learn how to walk and they learn how to talk. And walking is kind of one of the things that happens, but talking is influenced by the people around them. So how you talk is going to be similar to the other people around you if you have an accent of some sort. Of course, we in Wisconsin, we don't have accents.
Wisconsin.
But, so like, I want to do the same with my recovery, because I want to be around the people who have what I want. I want to be like them. And, I'm not going to absorb that if I'm not in the environment.
Yeah. It's a matter of you learn through experience, and gaining knowledge is, a lot of times we make mistakes, and having people around us to have that knowledge to build us back up and to love us when we feel the most unlovable.
That's right, Ed.
Edward Culver. Everywhere else but Wisconsin has accents. Nice to meet you, Ed. If you would tell us about your childhood, where you grew up, what it was like.
I grew up in central Wisconsin, just outside of Antigo, and
Antigo.
Antigo, and that's right.
It's
and
spelled Antigo, but it's Antigo.
We've been having this conversation lately because, and I laugh every time we do because of Matt. Matt Traver always says it's Antigo. I'm like, I grew up there. It's Antigo. But people from here will say Antigo, or the Northwoods area. Yeah, you actually met Ed when you were out by me.
Really?
Yes, at behavioral health.
Okay.
So, anyway, like I grew up close to here.
Hey, Amanda Marker's in the house. Hi,
hello,
honey.
my wife.
Amanda, help us share this out, will you please?
And then, I have a sister who is 15 months younger than me, and an older half brother who's 9 years older than me. My dad owned a business. My mom was in accounting, and she did a lot of different things throughout our childhoods, and ultimately ended up with in an insurance company. I had a basic childhood, but there was a lot of drama and trauma.
You grew up working in a machine shop.
I did. My dad has a machine shop. Oh my God, it's awesome. Like
now, if you know Steffi, you know that's not a far stretch for her. But for anyone that doesn't know you, that would look at you, you're 5'1" instructor.
I am 4'11". Thank you very much.
I was giving you the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, I mean, as far as growing up, working with your hands, so on and so forth, that environment, I know from working in machine shops is substance abuse and alcoholism is very rampant there.
Yeah, because it's a perfectionist trade. It's a perfectionist trade. For one thing, and when you get in that mindset, like it's like you have to do everything perfectly, or you think that you have to do everything perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't know how to cope when you don't, because inevitably none of us are perfect. It is not possible. Hey, Tara. Hey, Angela.
Angela still needs a car seat. Needs the old booster seat.
So you try to be perfect, and when you can't be, you beat yourself up about it, and then you end up looking for ways to cope with that. Alcoholism especially is rampant in the trades.
Mm-hmm.
In the trades. And then as a teenager, when I was 17, right before my 17th birthday, I had a car accident, a bad car accident. I flipped a car end over end the last ice storm in 96. And from that point, at that point in time, I was working in an apprenticeship program, going to college full time, and going to high school full time. And I lost all of that because of that car accident.
Mm-hmm.
So I lost my
you were badly injured, right?
Well, I walked away, so to speak. I did go to the hospital, but I was released that night. However, I had severe whiplash injuries, and I ended up experiencing intractable headaches.
Mm.
And that's where the medications started, because I was intolerant to so many different things. They tried me on many migraine medications, triptans and ergots that most people take for migraine. You
have a lot of allergies to medication, as I recall.
Yeah, like 18 of them.
Wow.
That I know of. Yeah, the list is long. But that put me back to, they just pumped me full of opiates. I mean, that was the cure-all.
Yeah. Then you became allergic to that.
I sure did, in a different way.
Yeah.
But it took a while. It actually took a while. And I still functioned in a lot of ways. I think one of the dangerous things is a functioning addict, because as a functioning addict, you can more easily deny you have a problem. Oh, I'm still going to work. I'm taking care of things here. I'm managing every other aspect of my life, but am I managing it effectively? But these are the stories that we tell ourselves, and without the severe signs of unmanageability, we don't know what to do with it.
Right.
And it was 10 years before I knew that I had a serious issue.
What was the first sign?
I had never experienced withdrawals. And I would be on massive doses of medication, and then I would be off of it for a couple of months, and then I would be back on massive doses, and it was never anything for me. And I had a cycle like that, and I stopped taking medication because I didn't need it, and I got sick. Now, at the time, I didn't even know why I was sick. And I go to my doctor, and my doctor says, urine withdrawal.
I've heard that a
And I,
lot.
and I said, absolutely not. I don't get withdrawals. That doesn't happen to me. It hasn't happened to me in 10 years. Why is it happening now? He's like, you're in withdrawal. And I said, no, I'm not. And he said, we're going to give you a shot in the office. And at the time, what I'd been on was Demerol. And I had Demerol shots at home. I had massive amounts of medication.
You never withdrew because you always had it available.
No, but I mean, I would be able to stop that because my headaches went in cycles. So they would be really bad for a few months, and then I'd have a couple months off. And then they'd be really bad again for a few months, and I'd have a couple months off. And the doctor, I had, shots of Demerol at home, fentanyl patches at home, OxyContin. I was on, and then I was on benzos on top of that. And the doctor said, we're going to give you a shot here. We'll find out real quick if that's the case. And 20 minutes after they gave me that shot, I was right as rain.
Crazy, right?
And that hit me like a ton of bricks, because one of the biggest things I was afraid of when I first started having these headaches was getting addicted to something. And I had progressed from I'm not going to be addicted to anything to somebody better get rid of my pain, and I don't give a damn how you do it. And then
Jekyll and Hyde right there.
Yeah. And then you go through, then you get stuck on this mentality that nothing else is going to work. And as long as you keep telling yourself that nothing is going to work, nothing works.
Else will. You're right.
Because you don't even become willing to give something else an honest try. Yes, you absolutely are, Mr. Cover.
We can become addicted to our work. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm probably not far off from that. This is my life. This is my passion.
Yep. This is what you do. Eat, sleep, recovery. It's not a bad thing, because it always puts you in a good place with other people, or in a position of service.
It does. And I look at it, people say that, and don't get me wrong, I agree with this, that balance is important. Self-care is important. The only issue is that I also believe in harm reduction, and I have an addictive personality.
Hi, Pam.
So it is much more healthy for me to be addicted to work and helping other people, as long as I'm still taking care of myself.
Right. You found that balance.
Yeah. And people look at me like I'm crazy, because sometimes I put in $80 to $100 a week without thinking that's a normal week for me. I'm like, how the hell do you do that? I'm doing what I love. I'm literally living my life and helping guide others to do the same.
What's up, Justin? Good to see you, bro. Pam.
And Angela knows I will never find that balance.
You're right. I wasn't going to mention anything about, trying to balance personal life, professional life. That's another topic for another night.
Yeah. and the thing is that, to me, my lives are, God, I hate to put it this way, some people, this may sound bad, is my lives, my professional life and my business and my personal life are intertwined, because that's the life I live.
Hi, Peggy.
Hey, Peggy, how's it going? That's the life I live. However, part of what my professional life is showing people how to live their personal lives. So I let them in on my parts of my personal life.
Sure.
They can see how I lead, how I live, lead by example.
Right. That's part of recovery coaching.
Yeah.
Be the example.
Yeah.
So let's get back. How did, from that point when you discovered you were addicted to painkillers, how did that progress into you seeking recovery?
Well, the first thing that it should have been at that point that I cut it all off, but I didn't.
No,
It was at that point they said, okay, we're going to give you a baseline of opiates.
you had
We're going to give you pain
everything at
medication.
your disposal and an agreeable doctor.
Yeah, and let me be clear. My doctor was clear that this was going to cause me an issue at some point in time. I have no ill will towards my doctor whatsoever. He continued to try to steer me towards not opiates, but again, we're talking about somebody. First of all, we're talking 20 years ago. We're talking about somebody who is intolerant to 18 different medications.
Mm-hmm.
And there weren't a lot of other options, and I was in severe pain. But I was making my pain worse because I was rebounding from the medications I was taking. Then I was creating more sensitivity to pain because the excess opiates in my system, create more receptors. And now, what feels like this or looks like this feels like you just got smashed with a hammer.
It creates more pain for you. The
Mm-hmm.
longer you abuse opiates, the more you seek relief, the more pain it causes.
Yeah, absolutely. And so they put me on a baseline of medication to make sure I didn't get sick, basically. And things just kind of spiraled from there. I was on massive doses of opiates. They added benzos because it was still intractable. 90% of the time the pain was intractable. And the multiple doses of opiates and then benzos on top of that. And then I went through a 28-day spell where I could not get any pain relief at all. I was giving myself my shots. I was taking my benzos. I was everything. And I had no relief. And on that last day, I was so frustrated. And I just wanted to die. I'm like, I have had it. I cannot do this anymore. And my husband was at work. I loaded a shotgun and I wrote a letter and I said, I can't live like this. I'm sorry. Make sure my kids know I love them. And my husband called and he said, I have to work late tonight. I have to work overtime. And I was like, what the because that meant my kids would come home and find me. And I wasn't okay with that. So then I was frustrated. I had a central line at the time and I ripped my central line out.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm bleeding, like my heart's beating and blood is squirting.
Is that like a fixture you have in your chest that goes directly?
Yeah, but it's not a port. It's not a port, and it had a bubble in it that kept it in place. But I just ripped it out.
Good God.
So I have this gaping hole, not gaping hole, but a big hole in my chest where blood is pouring out of me. And I grabbed a kitchen towel, I slammed it against my chest, drove myself to the emergency room, and walked in the emergency room. And they're used to seeing me, but they thought the one lady at the reception desk is like, oh my God, we got a stab victim. And the nurse come running out and she saw me. She says, no, she pulled her central line. So they, put the pressure, controlled the bleeding, got an IV in me, pumped me full of benzos to calm me down. And then the doctor came in and said, you're going to spend the night and we're going to put your line back in tomorrow. And I said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I said, I'm done with this. You're going to detox me off of all this shit. And slowly started making calls. And at that time, there wasn't a whole lot of services available. But they did get me a bed date that was about 3 weeks out. And so now, mind you, I had flushed all my medications because I was dying. You know what I mean? I was done. And at this point, I don't have, I'm not into street drugs. Everything I'm doing is pharmaceutical and prescribed. So they sent me home with a PICC line and enough medications then till that bed date was. And it was less than a week later, I get a call from the facility saying, if you can be here in the next 2 hours, you can have a bed right now. And off I went. And I detoxed off again, or I detoxed off for the first time. And I wasn't out of detox probably, I don't know, it was a month maybe. And I was back on low dose morphine, oral low dose morphine.
Mm-hmm.
And, we did this roller coaster ride for several years. And then the doctors started cutting people off.
Yeah, I was wondering what time frame that was during the opioid crisis. Not that we're not still in it, but in the beginning stages of it, they just cut people off, and that's what created a large portion of our addicted population, and got people addicted to
street drugs. Yeah, because
street drugs.
Because then I was like, now I'm trying to find anything. You know what I mean? Like, I'm miserable, freaking miserable. And my doctor never completely cut me off, but I was on what he was giving me compared to where I'd been just didn't satisfy the urges. And again, at this time, I'm not looking at it as an addictive urge. I'm looking at it as
survival.
Yeah.
Survival.
And I flitted back and forth. My husband and I at the time, we were having a lot of problems. We split, we got back together. I ended up going across the country to work, and his cousin, he worked for his cousin, and I ended up going with or meeting him down there, and us both going to work. And I had a real bad migraine one night. And they took me to the hospital, and I had a letter from my doctor stating what needed to be done in the event that I, were to present at the emergency room.
Mm-hmm.
And the emergency room doctor.
Hi, buddy.
That's Hayden.
I know.
But
it's Hayden. Know. Hi. Oh, that's right. Oh, there's other people here too.
Right. So, the emergency room doctor threw out everything my doctor had written, had to say, whatever, and paid no attention to anything. Ended up giving me medication that is on my allergy list because he told me the generic name, and I didn't know the generic name. I mean, I knew it as Reglan, not metoclopramide. It caused me a severe reaction in the hospital. I ripped my IVs out. My blood pressure was through the roof. I left there feeling way worse than I came in. And my husband said to me, I got something that'll take care of that headache. And he wasn't talking himself. Yeah. He had been heavily into crack cocaine years before, like a decade and a half before. And that night I found out that he'd been smoking crack cocaine since he was back down, in the South on the road. And I started too. And it took away every pain I had in my body.
Total numbing sensation.
Yep. But it gave me so many other headaches. Oh my goodness.
Yes. I can relate.
And the crazy thing is this is West Palm Beach that this happened in. So, like, when I came down by you, I was like, this is so cathartic. You know what I mean? Because, like, the last time I was down in this bitch, that was the start of everything really downhill.
That just shows how far you've come in your recovery and how it's transformed your life. You were last in West Palm Beach as a struggling addict. Now, when you came down, you were there to rescue me.
Yeah, it was.
Not many folks will fly across country to help someone out that's struggling in their addiction, and I was struggling, and Steffi was there within a day, and thanks to her mom buying the ticket to get her there, she drove me all the way back from Florida because I was detoxing so bad and in such a horrible shape, mentally, physically, and spiritually, that there's no way that I could drive across country by myself.
Hold on. Lay down. Down.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Bonnie to start barking as well. I love bull terriers, and I love your dog as well, the German Shepherd.
He's a brat.
Oh,
But he's my brat.
yeah, it's your lap dog. He's as big as you are.
I know, and he thinks he's my lap dog.
Anyways, carry on.
Yeah, so I dove pretty. I had about a 6 or 8 month love affair with crack. And I left the South, came back home, and I got clean from that. But we still had the opiate issue going on. And it was probably about 2 years later, I had another love affair with coke. And that one, I lost my kids. I left the state. It's just been everything was so messed up. My kids were in foster care, and, we were making preparations for them to go with family. I was living on the streets, and just, it wasn't good at all.
Mm-hmm.
I came back home. I went to jail in South Carolina. And when I was in jail, I had a dream. My grandpa came to me in a dream, and he had passed. And he said, Steffi, nothing's ever so bad that you can't go home. So when I got out of jail, I was out maybe 2 weeks, and I went right back to the coke. But when I got out of jail, there was a day I got in a big fight with someone, and I just couldn't do it anymore. And I walked myself into a church, and I said, I want to go home. And these people got me home this quick. I was on a bus. I took a bus to Jackson, Mississippi, where a friend of mine who was working in New Orleans was headed up north. And he picked me up in Jackson, Mississippi. And I rode back to Wisconsin with him.
God's
time. I slept the whole trip. I woke up enough to go to the bathroom and to eat. And I slept the whole trip.
I wish I would have known that story when you were driving me home.
No.
You never have to feel like this again. Over and over and over. That's love.
I know. The only choice you have is never to have to feel this way again. So I came home, and I did pretty well for a while. And I ended up having surgery. Right back on the opiates. And in the middle of all this, in 2008, my best friend hung himself. And there's nothing that prepares you for that. It's a damn dog.
Is somebody at the door?
Shadow. He thinks I'm calling him. But there's nothing that prepares you for that. Nothing. And the night that he hung himself, he had called me multiple times. And will you excuse me for 2 seconds? put this thing outside?
Yes. Go ahead. Stop, Bonnie.
So, sorry about that.
That's okay. Bonnie's barking too.
Like the night that he died, we had spent the better part of the night together, and he had some issues with his girlfriend. He had left the bar we were at.
Hi, Anita.
Hi, Anita. He had left the bar we were at, went home, then called me crying because he caught his girlfriend kissing some other dude under the stairs. I walked out
Ellie
the
is
back door.
Steffi's daughter, by the way. Hi, Ellie. I love you.
Hi, baby girl. She's pregnant with my grandson.
What's up, brother? Walk around and find out's in the house.
So he walked down to meet me out the back door, and we stood out there and we talked for like a half hour. And when he left me, he was smiling and he was happy and whatnot. And it was shortly after that, my boyfriend and I left the bar and went to his house. And my boyfriend asked me to leave my phone in the other room because for the prior week, almost every single night, the two of them would call in the middle of the night, drunk and arguing, wanting somebody to mediate their arguments and whatever. We just wanted to sleep through the night.
Mm.
And so I did, because I felt the same way. And in the morning, my boyfriend woke me up and said, Steffi, somebody hung themselves at the hotel. And I ran for my phone. And I had 6 missed calls from him and 2 voicemails. And one of the voicemails, he was almost inconsolable, crying, begging me to come over. And another one of them, he was very calm. He said, I love you. You've been like a sister to me. You're the best friend I've ever had. Don't blame yourself for this. And he hung himself on my voice.
Wow. That's rough.
When people don't know what to say to you, they say nothing at all. And people didn't know what to say to me. But one person did. And that was John. And John called, and we didn't know each other very well at this point. But he's like, I heard about your best friend. Do you, you want to get together? Let's kick it. I know what you're going through. And we became close. He became my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
I know, baby girl. He became my best friend. And we we did almost everything together. He owned a business. I went to work for him. All kinds of things. I lost my rights to my children. In fact, my daughter that's on here now is one of those children. My rights were terminated within a few months from this time. And then John overdosed and died.
Grief is an odd companion, isn't it?
Yeah. And it was like I had nothing but loss for 22 months. You know what I mean? Like Billy, the kids, then John.
Mm.
And I didn't want to feel any of it.
Absolutely. I can relate to that so much.
I went on methadone, but I wasn't healthy on methadone. Not at all.
Did you find it helpful?
Mm-hmm. Probably saved my life, regardless of the fact that I wasn't doing everything I needed to do. It saved my life at that time.
Do you think that your lived experience with multiple pathways to recovery have helped you in mentoring and coaching other people to
Absolutely.
find their own pathways?
Absolutely, because it's like, okay, for one thing, like I said, I'm not anti-Matt at all. I am, but I have the experiences. There were the things that,
Ellie.
yeah, I love that little girl saved my life.
Mhm. This is one of the daughters that you lost.
Yep.
You're not like best friends. You're getting ready to have a grandbaby.
She came home. She came home to me when I was like 5 months clean. The day before her 18th birthday, because neither one of us could wait anymore. We just,
And Brad's back in your life.
and yep, and my son too. And it took him longer. He didn't want shit to do with me,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't blame him. You know what I mean? I put them kids through hell. My lifestyle put them through hell, and yeah.
She did. She put the work in for sure.
And I am so grateful for Mike and Sandy Kessler, because Mike and Sandy Kessler adopted my children and, finished raising them. They were the structure that my kids needed. And if my kids would have been with me, like, I used to be so mad that I lost my kids. Now in recovery, I'm grateful.
Right.
I'm grateful because they didn't have to experience the lifestyle I lived any longer than what they did. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Because they really did experience the bad stuff. The really bad stuff came after.
We're about almost 45 minutes into it. You want to talk about when you made the decision to finally? When was what was your last rock bottom like?
It kind of went like this because it did some dipping and diving. But my daughter called me one day and said, I want to come home. I need my mom. And like, I had always swore that if I ever had a chance to be my kids' mom again, I would do whatever was necessary. So I started to do that, and I had a really rough time. Like, I would get 7, 10, 14 days and I would use again.
Relatable.
Yeah. And it's like, I felt like I was committing slow suicide.
Congratulations, Genesee, for fighting through that and maintaining.
Hell yeah. I felt like it was, like I was committing slow suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And
maybe you needed that one piece of motivation to push you over that kind of.
And I got it.
Riding the fence, it was just that reservation, like, maybe this life's for me. Maybe I want it today. Maybe I don't. Back, forth, back, forth. We do a lot of that back, forth, tiptoeing back and forth. That line in the sand had already been crossed. We're addicted. We're messed up. Our lives are unmanageable, and we're suffering consequences. We're suffering in every aspect, and we find that one glimmering piece of hope to hang on to, and it grows into this big, glowing, beautiful picture.
And I had a criminal case. It was just a misdemeanor, not a big deal, but I had an attorney because of it. And that attorney was also dealing with a civil case. And he comes into play because I woke up one morning and I decided I was done committing slow suicide. Again, I'm going to get it all over with. This is it. This is my last day. And I got dressed, started doing things I wanted to do on my last day. And my attorney called, said, I need to see you about these cases. And I was like, I don't freaking care about that criminal case because it doesn't matter, right?
Right.
But
I won't be here for that.
Right. I had information about the civil case that I didn't want to leave loose ends. So I went into his office, and we spent about 5 minutes or so talking about my cases that were going on and stuff. And I was getting up and I was getting ready to leave. And for whatever reason, he looked at me, he stopped me, and he said, "How are you really?" And I looked at him and I lost my shit. And like all of this stuff just poured out of me. Like we spent an hour and a half. He cleared his afternoon. We talked for the next hour and a half.
Another
And
God moment.
yeah, absolutely a God moment. And today he's one of the best friends I have in the entire world. Like I love Alex to death. There is not a single thing I wouldn't do for that man.
And
You
him
met
him for you as well. I've seen that in person for sure.
Yeah, he's an amazing individual, and like I didn't tell him. I didn't tell him like until like a year later that he saved my life. And he didn't even know what to say when I told him, because I told him in front of a bunch of people. You know what I mean? Like the whole tag committee. He's like, is that bullshit? I'm like, no, it's not bullshit. But when I left his office, I slipped once after that. And it was a constant growth from there. I got involved, and my living situation was that drugs were all around me, and like I knew that if I was going to stay clean, it had to be my decision to do it, because in my head at that time, I didn't see myself being able to get out of the environment.
Right.
So if I can't change the environment around me, I got to change me in the environment. And I started going to meetings. I started putting in service work. I started volunteering for the craziest things just to be able to be busy. I had choices multiple times every day. Get high, go do something. Get high, go do something. And the drugs were right there. I just reach out and do them.
Right.
But I kept choosing recovery. I kept choosing, the to go help someone else, to heal.
You'd had enough at that point.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely had enough. And I just like I would
Amen,
beg.
Brian.
Yeah, exactly. I would beg my creator every night, let me make it one more day. Let me make it one more day. Let me make it one more day. And I would somehow
One day at a time program, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. And like every day I made it one more day. And every day I got a little bit further. And then people started noticing, like, hey, this bitch is clean. And nobody ever thought that shit was going to happen. And I'm a resource girl. That's what I do anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And they started asking questions like, how are you doing this? Where can I go to get? And I started providing resources to other people.
Melissa.
Hey, sister.
We met Melissa at a Prove-It event in Louisville, Kentucky. She's an amazing
I sure wish I'd have got down to Texas.
We love you, Melissa,
we do.
For sure.
We absolutely do. And like I just started finding things for people, like I was coaching and didn't even know I was coaching.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I was just
that was going to be my next question. How did you get on your career path?
I was coaching and I didn't even know I was coaching, and like, working my recovery. And Ed, who is on here or was on here, I don't know if he's still here or not. Ed kept telling me you should apply up by us. You should come work with us. And finally I put an application in, and I got hired, and I started working up at Forest County Potawatomi with the behavioral health team there. And like
the largest Indian tribe or the native tribe in Wisconsin?
No,
Not
it's
large.
pretty small actually.
Really?
Might be the richest, but it's not the largest.
Got you.
So we but and taking that position happened at a time in my life when it was so necessary. I had just been raped.
She seems to have paused. What happened, Steffi? Are you there? Steffi, what are you doing? I'm gonna take her off and have her rejoin. She's doing a phenomenal job. It takes a lot of courage to speak your truth on 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 the internet. In front of people that there's a lot of trolls out here that want to judge people that have no knowledge of what recovery is about. Are you back, Steffi? She's nope, not yet. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that are judgmental that want to judge us on our path to recovery. Steffi taught me about avoiding the gatekeepers, the ones that are so rigid in their recovery that they want to judge and shun other people. I'm not with that. We aren't with that. The people that I surround myself are not with that. We're not benefiting or helping anyone else if we're judging someone in their recovery. Never have I ever judged someone that it made my life any better. I can say that for a fact. Mom's internet connection sucks out there. Ellie Bennett, I love you, dear. How many months before you had the baby? Tell Heather I said hi too, by the way. Excuse me. It's really cool to have Steffi on here. She's been very, very beneficial to me in my life and in my recovery. Are you back with us, Steffi?
That's what country internet does, man. I'm sorry. It's the way it is.
The cellular reception isn't any better in Wisconsin.
Oh no, and it's horrible here.
So what's up, Higgy? Yeah, you're coaching. You're working for the tribe. You're helping people.
And that was it.
How has that benefited you in your overall recovery?
It has solidified
the path
my
that
recovery.
You're on now.
It has solidified my recovery in so many ways. One, like this came into my life.
Dial up.
Yeah, I did.
Michael Jones has 6 months, 6 years, 3 months. Congratulations, brother. Where's it at? Here it is. That's Dave. Hi, Dave. I love you too, bro. Michael
hey,
Jones,
brother,
there
how's
you
it
are.
going?
6 years and 3 months. Congratulations, homie. Good stuff.
So I took this job right after I was raped.
Mm.
And I was raped in my recovery.
Mm.
And I'm gonna tell you what, that is something that people start using over shit like that who had never had an issue before.
People take their lives over things of that nature. They blame themselves. It takes away your sense of security, your self-worth, your value. It just invades every part of your personal and spiritual being.
It stripped away every part of me that was solid. But, and this is going to sound weird to some, it solidified some things in my recovery.
Mm.
Because I had to work my recovery super hard. I had to do what was necessary. There was no fucking way I was, excuse my language, going back to drugs.
You got grit. You got grit, girl. There's no doubt about it. I know that for a fact.
It made me start to. So now I'm working with other people who are trying to get into recovery, in early recovery, maintenance recovery, whatever, right? And I'm like, I have to do the things that I would tell them to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what would you tell somebody else in this situation?
You had to walk the walk
Yeah.
and not
Walk
just
the walk,
talk.
walk the talk. You know, and that's something we talk about in Wellbriety all the time is walk the talk. And
Nicole's in in the feed as well. Hi, Nicole.
you know, and it's like, so I started digging deep because there were things that needed to be healed, things that this rape brought up that needed to be healed aside from the rape itself. And I just kept going. And it's like I had a purpose because what I was doing was important, you know, and I felt like I felt like I needed to stay on my path because I couldn't let other people down either.
You had to continue to be the example to show
Yeah,
that people can make it through this, and you're doing a phenomenal job. You really
you
are.
know, and like it just keeps growing. You know what I mean? It just keeps growing. And then it's like through this, my spirituality is growing. I found my spirit, truly found my spirituality um in my recovery. I was probably 2 years into my recovery before I really got serious about spirituality. I mean, I grew up with a Christian faith. And I was always like, oh, yeah, I believe in God. I definitely believe in God. I definitely have faith and whatnot. But as I looked at things, I realized there were a lot of things I believed, and a lot of things that didn't mesh, and a lot of things that I felt that I couldn't explain. And I had to start confronting my beliefs and digging deeper and connecting to my spirituality.
So you transitioned from a religious, faith-based belief system to common core spirituality.
Yeah. You know, and like I don't really follow any one religion. I follow what resonates with me and I connect.
You have a lot of holistic practices,
I
and
do.
I've adopted a lot of those things as well. The smudging, I love that. It really worked. It worked for me.
Of course.
The Reiki practices, I like that as well. I could feel that because we're energy, right?
Yeah. That's exactly what we are.
I'm a Christian man as well. I've been baptized multiple times. You know, I have a God. I love Jesus. I believe in Jesus, and I incorporate these other practices in my life as well because it adds value to my life. And something that you guys turned me on to when I was in Wisconsin is the tarot cards. You know, people want to say, "Oh, that's devil worshiping." No, it's not. It's thought provoking more than anything else. These
It's
cards are
mindfulness.
ambiguous to mean whatever you want them, whatever your
Your
perception
higher
is.
self, your intuition will pull what whatever it is that's supposed to mean. When you're looking at the cards you pull, hi baby. How did you get in? Um when you're looking at the cards you pull, um when that first thought comes to you, he's so sassy. When that first thought comes to you, um, from the card you pulled, um, it's your inner intuition speaking to you. Lay it down. Um,
So domineering.
he's in my lap. Lay down. Down. But you pull that card and like those thoughts come to you for a reason.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Those are the things that are laying in your subconscious that or that your higher self is trying to tell you. Some people call it subconscious, call it your higher self. You have, your inner child, whatever. All of these things will come to you, and those are the things that you need to pay attention to
Right.
because your intuition will tell you everything you need to know. Like in the beginning, I never knew if my anxiety was talking to me or my intuition was talking to me.
Hmm.
Now I can
That
discern
inner
between,
dialogue, right?
yeah. And now I can discern between the two so quickly because I've practiced it, because I've seen the effects of practicing it in my life. You know, Like there's just this knowing, this feeling, this hearing that you know that you have when your intuition speaks. And
It's all about your intentions, right?
yeah,
Set
it's
your
about,
set your intentions.
and I get up every day and I do that. I set my intentions for the day and I reflect upon them at night. You can look at this from a 12-step. You can look at this from a 12-step perspective, or where at night I'm 10th step. Say hi, Fearsome.
Hi, buddy.
And like when I'm setting my intentions in the morning and I'm planning how I'm going to go about my day and I'm looking at things I want to get done and how I'm going to act. And then at the end of the day, I'm, continuing to do my personal inventory and making amends wherever is necessary and looking at things, what went right, what went wrong, what could I have done better? What am I resentful about?
Your 10th step. Yep.
Yeah.
Selfish, self-seeking, or is full of fear.
And the more spiritual I got, the more I understood my 12-step program. My 12-step program didn't bring me to my spirituality. My spirituality brought me to my 12-step program. Because I went, because I felt, during COVID, I fell away from 12-step programs.
Many of us did. Many of us
did. And this is when I fell in with Pain to Purpose and Bridge the Gap. And we I was away from the 12-step stuff, but we were on the spirituality journey. And, I was connecting well with Jeremy and there were just so many things going on. And it's like, then I started to come back into 12-step fellowships and I go, hey, oh, that's what that means. Things were clicking and it was just so beautiful. It's like my spirituality gave me freedom. I wasn't clean and struggling anymore. I was clean and happy.
You were feeling you were feeling that freedom that we seek so desperately.
Well, and when we grew up in a religious environment, I hate to say this, but it's fear-based. Ooh, be afraid of going to hell. Be afraid of the devil. Don't do this. You're going to go to hell. Right. No, and even looking back at biblical things, I see there's truths in the Bible, but the Bible isn't all the truth. And man perverts everything he gets his hands on.
We see that with the televangelists as well.
My personal belief is that it doesn't matter what you call God, creator, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what you call it. It's all the same.
Higher power. Yeah.
Yeah. Like my name is Steffi. My kids call me mom. My nieces and nephews call me auntie. My sister calls me sister. You know what I mean? Like I'm called all those different things, but I'm still Steffi.
Yes.
I feel the same way about God. He's called all these different things, but he's still God.
Hey, he would call you, Brad.
Absolutely.
His name's Casey. Because he told me to send you. I missed one number out of your number.
I agree with you 100%. Whatever you want to call it, whatever you identify with, as long as it adds value to your life and gives you someone to turn your will over to, it's going to be beneficial, right?
Yeah, and and it's like
keeps us from running believing we can run the show, right?
And we're created in God's. You look at the Christians; they say you were created in God's image. Absolutely. We are aspects of God. The God is within us. The God is without. As above, so below. As within, so without.
We are over an hour at this point. Excuse me. That's fine. Someone's going to see this that's new in recovery. Somebody that's seeking recovery doesn't know how to find it. What words of encouragement can you give someone that wants a better way of life?
Don't stop trying, and open your mind. Stop hanging on to your secrets. They keep you sick. Secrets keep you sick. Do not hold on. Don't. And when when you think nobody else is going through this, everybody else is going through it. When you think nobody's going to understand, everybody understands, or at least enough people understand.
That's why we say you're not alone, because
no, you are never
you're
alone.
not. We all think we're so unique, that no one will understand our struggles. No one will.
We are uniquely the same.
Yeah, very nice. I like that.
We are uniquely the same.
And we've all done these shameful things that we're afraid to divulge. You're so right when you say our secrets keep us sick, because those things that we hold on to, we carry with us, and all that energy in our bodies, that negative energy, and the belief that we're unworthy, unlovable, that we're too far gone. It's not true, is it?
No, absolutely is not true. And one of Jeremy's favorite things to say is everything happens for us, not to us.
Yes.
And I love that, because there is a silver cloud or there is a silver lining to every cloud. It doesn't matter how bad it is. No matter how bad something is, there is something positive to come out of it. Like I said, I was raped.
So that means the courage it takes to divulge this stuff, to bare your soul, speaks volumes for who you are as a person, or where you are in your recovery. Because we're at a point in our recovery where we know sharing our secrets and our deepest, darkest regrets, our shameful moments, makes recovery attractive for other people, because we are still pushing through all of that, and we don't believe that we are unlovable and unworthy today.
And we're the hope. We're the hope. We provide the hope that other people need in order to take the steps and give recovery a chance.
Carrying the torch.
Yeah. I have a coworker who says, give us a chance. We go back to your old way if that's what you want to do in 90 days or 120 days. Give us a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And he's so right.
It's true. Thank you, Stephanie.
Yeah, only the judge and my mama call me Stephanie.
Steffi, you're an amazing woman. You've touched so many lives. You have a lot of people that love and adore you, and the beauty in that is you can feel that today.
I do, and it's amazing. And it's like, without my journey, I don't have a destination.
Ooh, that's pretty deep.
Everything happens for us, not to us. Without the things I've been through, I can't be who I am today. I can't do what I do today.
That's right.
You're
an amazing story of redemption. Everyone, go check out Steffi's group, Spiritual. What is it?
It's
Spiritual Freedom. It's right there, scrolling at the bottom of the page.
Yeah, Spiritual Freedom. I created the group so that people would have a safe place to express all views of their spirituality. It's not limited into religion. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter what religion you are. It's there for your spirituality.
Hi, Samantha. It's good to see you on here. Genesee, thank you for chiming in during the live as well. You have a professional page as well? Innovative
Coaching Services. Yes, I do. And that's linked from my personal page, which I guess my personal page is now professional too. So
we are also promoters of Prove It Therapeutic Ketones. If you want to make a positive lifestyle change, you want to lose some weight, you want energy in your life, you want to be able to think with some clarity,
Absolutely.
Either one of us, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Steffi's on my team, and she's an amazing role model and a coach in many aspects. We have a lot of people at our disposal to help you on your journey. I'm down over 60 pounds at this time and feeling pretty amazing.
Yeah, I know the focus that I get. It is unbelievable. I wish I would have found this in early recovery.
That's right. It helps with
I
your
probably wouldn't have battled a weight problem.
or the whole intense thought processes, the struggle with thinking, the
Yeah,
fogginess.
because it definitely clears your thinking. Ketones make a big difference in my thinking.
Brian Perokovich says it's about the journey, the destination. It isn't about the destination. It's about the journey. You are so correct on that. Thank you guys, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, Steffi, for taking the time. This
Absolutely.
has been a long time coming. Thank you for helping me get back in the saddle again.
For sure.
Doing my interviews and whatnot. And everyone, if you haven't heard, I have accepted a role on Radical Online Radio. I'll be DJing shows and taking the Survivor Series to another platform on a larger scale, and continue to touch lives, sharing inspirational testimonies, including musicians, artists of all kinds. And it's gonna be a really good time, and I get to play any kind of music I want. It's not all recovery music. It's mainstream music, anything with a positive message. I'm about it. So please go check out Radical Online Radio and give us a like and a follow. Steffi, anything in closing?
Yeah. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in to us tonight. And feel free to reach out anytime. I'm here for support. Higgy as well.
Mm-hmm.
Hi,
Jamie.
Don't do this alone.
Nicole SRB, we love you.
I love you, Nicole.
If you guys are interested in your physical fitness, what's the name of Amanda's group?
Pain to Purpose, and then she has Addiction to Active Recovery Challenge.
Right.
And that, Amanda does a lot of stuff with Evolve Coping, which we're both part of Pain to Purpose and Bridge the Gap. Yeah, definitely get Active Recovery Challenge. Yeah.
Yes. Nicole, you're just killing it in all areas.
She's freaking amazing.
She's freaking amazing all day, every day. Brian says he is always available for a call or text anytime, as well as this man has
and he's great support. He's great support. He works in amazing recovery.
All right, good night, everyone. Thank you for tuning into the Survivor Series. We are out of here. Good night.